Well, what a lovely West Ham free weekend we are having. Look back to West Ham Official. Hope you are all well. You join us for a catch up. You know, something to talk about because there ain't a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the current situation, of course, at West Ham as we head into a very busy month for the Hammers. Welcome back to West Ham Official and joined by two regulars to start with this afternoon. Firstly, Mike, how are you?
Yeah, good, Jake. And yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I bumped into Mike yesterday. He was being very good. I think Mike, you had a side salad and a carrot bag, didn't you, at McDonald's yesterday?
No.
He went straight in for the Big Mac. I was like, I like it.
Big Mac. Big Mac and fries,
mate. Gary, how are you?
Very good, Jake. First day of summer, so how can we not be happy?
First day of summer, it's tipping it down out there. That's what it's doing.
Looking pretty. A bit dismal out there, isn't it, Jake?
It's a bit dismal. It's certainly to see we got watching. Lawrence, hope you are well. Hope everything is well. You're and everybody else watching in the chat. Right, then StreamYard gave me a few more options here. I can just add the misery a bit more by going like this. Look, ready, and then the league table. Look how nice that looks, guys.
Get rid of it.
Look how nice that looks. Oh, very good, very good. Where to start then? Obviously, we've got this mega 9-game April period. We've had a bit of a rest now. Many players out on international duty. Mike, it's been a time to sort of reflect and look forward on what's a massive couple of months for the club now.
Yeah, it's a huge month. This is a huge month. This is when the squad comes into play, and hopefully we can target the games that we really think we should get the points from with our strongest squads, and hopefully still get through the European games.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough. It's a difficult month, but if we keep everyone fit, I think we should be able to get enough results to drag ourselves out of trouble and keep us in the old conference.
Yeah, and I think it's going from not having too many games this month, banging it straight into what's because we've got an extra 2 games on top of everybody else, Gary, because of Europe, which could play its role as well. It's just I think probably the biggest game out of the month is the first one this time next week. It's just every game now we've got to take is absolutely massive, isn't it?
It is, Jake. It's a huge month for West Ham Football Club. I think, as you say, Saints at home next Sunday is massive. There's no reason why we shouldn't win that game. Newcastle midweek again. I fancy us to get something there, and Fulham away. I fancy us to get something there. So I think hopefully we can start off with a good run, get a few points on the board, get a bit of confidence back in the league, and then, as you say, we've got the Conference League. Is it April the 13th, first leg?
13th and 20th, yeah.
So. Yes, it's just a massive month. I just hope the international break finishes with no injuries to key players.
For sure. And we joke about it, but if we do look at that table that we've got here now, it's just incredibly congested down there, and we all know that. And we've played the least amount of games out of the 8 teams down there, but you could put a pleasable sort of argument in for any single one of those 8 teams to go down there. From 23 to 27, 4 points separate 8 sides. It's if you get it right, it's a fluke because it's just so unpredictable and anything could happen, and it's going to ebb and flow every single week, Mike.
Yeah, the next 3 games are important, and let's face it, if we don't beat Southampton and we don't get something at Fulham, then we are in a little bit of trouble. Yeah. And we honestly, if the games we got to play, if we don't get, I think we need 36 points. Looking at it. So that's what's that? Another 12 points we got to get. So 4 wins, and a couple of draws would be bonus. But I honestly do think that if you don't get those points, you don't deserve to be in the Premier League. Full stop.
No, I think we've been quite fortunate, whereas that there's just so many sides down there, and we're trying to hunt for these 3 teams worse than us. And I honestly do think that a big proportion of it, even though it's so tight down there, it's going to come down to that Southampton game. Because if they turn up and beat us, that puts them then 2 points above us, and I think we are staring down the barrel of relegation if we don't beat Southampton. I don't think a draw is enough, because if a draw brings them level, it keeps them It keeps them a point below us, but it's just a must win, and anything but I think is disastrous. I think, Harry.
Yeah, it's a huge game. It's a huge game. Because it's so close, Jake. I don't think it'd be a disaster because there's 9 teams, as you say, down there, from 11th down to 20th, 4 points. We've all got to play each other. We've got to play Saints. We've got to play Bournemouth. We've got to play Leicester. We've got to play Leeds. We've got to play Palace. And I guess I haven't seen the rest of the fixtures, but I guess it's the same for the other teams. So there's going to be some huge games amongst that. They're going to take points off each other. But looking at it, I was speaking to my brother who's a City fan. You literally can't call any team that's in form at the moment. You thought Wolves were in form and they get out of form. Thought Forest were in form at home, they lose a bit of form. You think Everton doing all right at home, they lose home to Villa. See, it's such a hard call. But as Mike said, if we don't get 36, 37 points on our own, we don't deserve to stay up. Simple as that. We've got to get the points ourselves and let other teams sort themselves out. I think if we get to 40, it'll be really safe. Then we'll be fine. But it's in our own hands. I think over 38 games, you finish where you deserve to. So you've got no excuse.
There's absolutely no excuse to take out of it now. We've got the 2 games in hand on a few of the clubs there. We've got Newcastle on the Wednesday, which is one of those games in hand. I think we can nick a point off of them because they do and we did it a couple of months ago at their place. We can nick a point off a side like Newcastle. I don't think we'll beat them, but I think we could definitely get a point off of them. And then Man City away, I think they just need to put to the side and not really worry about too much and just take that as it comes. But we play sides around us. We play sides. We've got a lot of the big 6 left at home and the Man City away game. We've got to play each other twice at the end of the day, and I think it might come down to the team we play, who are currently a point above us on the final day of the season, Mike.
That could be a massive game, but I just hope that we're out of it by then. Honestly, those games, we might think we're going to win a certain game. We might go and draw against Southampton, but like Gary said, that wouldn't be the end of the world. That's not disastrous, because if you look at it, we've got 2 games in hand. You can't count them as being Man City and Newcastle. You've got to count the next few games that we're playing. And we get points in them. We don't have to worry about picking up anything away Man City. Yeah. I think the important games this month is hopefully getting 3 wins, or at least 2 wins and a draw, or 2 wins and 2 draws. And that would probably be enough to keep us afloat.
And I think the main objective we've got to take out of these games is to stay above water with it and pick up points on a regular basis, because there are sides that are going and they're picking up a point every weekend. They're constantly picking up these points, and whereas and we need to go to sides and attack them now. We've got absolutely nothing to lose. There's no good going out and end up going down with a whimper because we try to defend every game and get the point. We need to go out there and do what these sides are doing. Bournemouth, I know they lost to Villa. They went away to Villa, but they came and they shocked the Liverpool side. It's given them a bit of hope and belief. I can't see West Ham doing that. I really can't. And that's where over this international break, I think the mentality's got to switch. We've got to go out there and go to games and try and win them, whoever we're playing, because we're fighting for our lives and we need to show that we're fighting. At the moment, just not quite seeing it there from all the players, Gary.
No, I agree, Jay. I think the trouble is, I think we all know, watching the games as much as you and Mike do, we set up too defensively. We're too cautious. We never score in the first 20 minutes. We're always, I think it's 17, 18 times we conceded the first goal or something. I can't remember the stat.
It's ridiculous.
We're too cautious, and we need to attack. But I don't think we will. But we've got to. Hopefully, the players are focused now. This league table's been like this for a week. By the time we play every another week, we're in the bottom 3. And if they didn't think they were in relegation before, they know they are now. Yeah. They've got to play as if we are in a relegation battle, and we've got to fight for every point. But we're good enough. We are good enough. Old Trafford, we should have got something there this season. Anfield should have got something there. So we shouldn't be frightened of playing United and Liverpool at home. No. As you say, Jake, quite right. We've got a point at Newcastle, so we shouldn't be frightened there. I think the only teams that really blown us away were Arsenal in the second half, and Brighton, which was just a disaster. Other than that, we've been in every game. So there's no reason at all why we can't pick up points.
No, exactly, and we can't expect to go into games trying to get the point out of it, and then when we concede, the plan goes out the window, and we go, oh well, I don't know what to do now, and we can't have any sort of repeat of what we saw down at Brighton a couple of weeks ago. That was just completely disastrous. And I hope that the players that have stayed there and haven't gone out on international duty, I hope Moyes is drumming into them now and the backroom stuff, and I hope Noble's there as well, saying, look, we cannot afford to be putting in those performances. We need to go, and we've got the quality there, and we need to start using it. But who knows? Let's take some comments here. We've got watching. Lawrence says, sorry, I could not go live listening and chatting while having breakfast with the wife. That's very nice of you, Lawrence. Very,
very brave of him.
Yeah.
Lawrence says, good point, Mike. If we can't get 12 points, we deserve to go down. I think this is probably, one of the least amount of points is going to keep you up we've seen in the Premier League for a long time, because usually by now there's a team that are adrift from the pack and they're almost sort of relegated. We had Norwich last year who were down with quite a sort of few games to go, but you can't call it there. You really can't. And all of those teams there, 3 have got to go down, and when it comes down to something like goal difference, we can't be relying on that. We need to get the points on the board in order for us to be feasible to win this league, to be in this league next year. So we've just got to, and if that's not an incentive to go and win a football match, I don't know what the hell is, to be honest with you. But hey ho, we'll see. Lawrence says, I see 4 points in the next 2 matches. I'd 100% snatch 4 points off you now. If we have 4 points from the next 2, that takes us away, I think, from the sort of relegation zone. It might take us up to 13th, 14th away from it, and it gives the players that bit of confidence, Mike.
Yeah, I think if we get a result against Southampton,
be massive.
You've got to remember, Fulham are going to be under strain. Yeah, because of what happened at Old Trafford. So, yeah, I think we've already beaten Fulham once as well this year. So, they'll be looking at us like we look at Brighton, won't they? They say, "Oh, we never beat these lot," and you have got to think like that. I mean, there will be a little bit in the heads of Fulham. So, okay, they want to prove that they were, they deserve more against us when they played us at home. But I think we'd be good enough to go and take points. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the players now. I mean, we all know how Moyes sets up. We all know that he's, he starts off, defensively, don't concede and stay in the game, blah, blah, blah. We see it every week and we get fed up with it, I know. But down to those players that roll their sleeves up and say, come on, boys. Look at each other, look around at each other and go, come on, let's get out of the blocks. Let's do something in these first 20 minutes, Let's go out there
for sure.
Show that we're going to win this game. Hark back to 2007, we didn't have a team that was anywhere near as good, or a squad that was anywhere as near as good as this on paper. But I'll tell you what I did see out of that team was fight. Okay, Carlos Tevez, he scored some important goals for us and give us a bit of a boost. But in that side, what I saw was tackles going in. I saw people rolling their sleeves out. I saw people wanting to win the ball. And as West Ham fans, that's what we want to see. We want to see that now for these last 12 games.
Yeah, for sure. Does it make you feel old if I say I wasn't even born when, that great escape happened in 2007? No.
I feel old anyway, Jake. I don't need to.
Apologies.
We lived through the glory years, Jake. Don't forget that.
That's right.
In the 80s, we were there.
I've been to a cup final and seen us win, but there won't be many of us left, will there?
It'll be like Mike, the World War II veterans stay up, mate.
Mike, get that minibus book. We're going to Prague. Mandy says, "Hi everyone. Saints should against Spurs. They can battle to get points. How huge is this game? I think it's absolutely massive, to be honest with you. And I do think it comes down to that now. If we can show a bit of fight, if we can beat them, then it just takes us away from it, a bit of pressure off and a bit of confidence. If we don't, then we're sort of, continuing on from the dreary and poor form we've had before. No real hope around the team, and we just need to put in a performance and a statement more than anything to just build that confidence. Jack, hope you well. Hope you have a good afternoon to you, my friend. John says we will show Saints that we need the 3 points, not them exactly, and they're fighting as well. As Mandy highlighted just there, they got a point off of Southampton, off of Spurs, because they didn't stop fighting. They went out and despite how fluky and probably disallowed it should have been, they still got it, and it's still a vital point on the board for them. And we know they aren't going to just come and roll over, perhaps like Forest did. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Mandy says, is Moyes going to bottle it and play 5 at the back against Saints? I think that sends out the defensive message straight away if he does that, and it gets the fans.
I don't think he can anymore, Jay. I don't think he can do that anymore. I think he has realised now that he's got to play the back 4. He's got to.
Yeah, for sure.
We went down to Saints away, and I thought they were the poorest team I've seen us play against this season. We camped the whole second half was in there. Yeah. We were attacking them.
We battered them.
Yeah, I don't think they really look like scoring too much in open play, but obviously, hopefully Moyes has drilled into his defenders not to give free kicks away from the edge of the box.
Yeah,
that's where we're going to be in trouble. Yeah. Other than that, I think it'll be okay.
I think if Moyes portrays the right tactics and puts the right lineup out there and B's attacking about it and makes the right flipping substitutions and doesn't take Ben Rama off at half time no matter what he's done, then I think it's a side that we can beat, because they've got many flaws there. They're not, they are a side that blow incredibly hot and cold, and they've got a manager there that has been inconsistent. They sacked Arsenal, they got this guy in. And things have been inconsistent, and that's been the way for Southampton for a few years now. They go on a good run for 5 games, and they're the worst team in the league for 5 or 10 games. That's just the way Southampton sort of operate over the last few years, and we hope we can catch them all of their bad days, because I think we can put them down. But we've got to go out there with the right attitude and not let them come onto us early and make themselves feel at home. People. They love coming to the London Stadium, because especially this season, you look at us, we let you do what you want in the first 20 minutes. There's no real atmosphere there. Teams now look forward to come to London Stadium because we're a side that are vulnerable. We need to stop that, and we need to go out, attack early, and put a statement out there, Mike.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think also, we're talking about atmosphere, Jake. I think it's the fans now need to really get behind them for this game.
Yeah.
That will make a lot of difference. They need a 12th man against Southampton. Put everything aside. What's happened with the board, the manager, how we've been playing up till now. Just say, right, clean state. Today we're going to get behind the team and we're going to get them the 3 points.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think even if the club could do something as well, so let's get into the ground early, let's put on a good pint offer or something. Let's get the fans behind the team. Let's entice the fans to be excited to come to a home game again, because the minute it's become a chore and you see it over Twitter, people going, "Oh, I've got to go to another home game," Let's make it exciting. Let's go out there and let's give the fans something to shout about, because we can get an atmosphere going in there. It's been dire in there this season. There's no denying that. But that's down to what we're seeing on the pitch, because it's been crap, and we've got to change that. And that's got to start with us trying to make an atmosphere and the players responding by putting in a good performance. Jones says, hello, everyone. I agree, Jake. Can't see Moyes attacking, unfortunately. And that's where the whole sort of negativity across the fan base stems from, because Moyes is complete and utter failure to attack seeps through to the fan base, Gary.
It does, and it's almost a resignation when you're watching the game. I mean, I was at the Villa game, as no doubt you two were, and you expect us to come out really positively and strong. And again, it's pass around the back and just a little bit of possession and no thrust until they score. And then we think, oh, as you say, we've got to do something about it. But on the positive side, I think Bowen's coming into form. Yeah. So I think we should let him have a go. Paqueta's been playing well recently. So, and obviously Declan's confidence will be up after his performance for England. Yeah. So I hope we've got the players, man for man. I mean, you look at Southampton's team, and who would you put in their team in ours? Probably maybe Ward-Prowse. Other than that, I can't see anybody. So we should beat them. We just got to believe in it. Get some belief and confidence in our team and attack, and then we can win.
Let's just hope so. John's mentioning the kickoff time, so it's changed for some of the games heading forward. Anyone who decided to play our home game against Man United 7 o'clock,
That's
a kickoff time
disgusting.
at 4:30 would have been ideal. I'll tell you what, it completely sums it up. Football would be nothing without fans, you know, and we saw how dead it was, you know, during lockdown. 7 o'clock on a Sunday. I know it's a bank holiday the next day, but that's not the point. For us home fans that have got to travel a hell of a long way to get to home games, to Man United fans, some of them have got 2 stops on the tube, but some of them are coming from Manchester down. 7 o'clock, not going to finish till 9, out by 10. You're not getting back to Manchester by midnight, you know, on a Sunday. Why? I've never seen BT Sport put a game at 7 o'clock on a Sunday. Why? What's the need?
It's all about
disgusting.
TV
I
revenue,
agree.
mate. That's all there is to it. Full stop. You know, they don't give a damn about the fans. They never have done.
No.
No.
It's all about the revenue, mate. Full stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Mike. I mean, to be honest, I'm thinking twice about going because it's such a late night on a Sunday. You know, I will get back much before 2 a.m. So, is it worth it? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. But it's just frustrating, and you know, for the fans getting there, I think a 7 o'clock kickoff it's just a complete embarrassment, isn't it? You know. Jones says I think we would draw at best. Now next weekend probably get an unexpected point at Arsenal. Crikey, you've got some confidence, Joan. It's going to be a tough one to watch. Let's scroll down on some of these comments. Lawrence says no back five, we must press forward, and as Jake said, go for the wins. James Ward-Prowse, the 3 words of doom. Pete, hope you're well. Is it Sharky says it's to do with the King's coronation that weekend. I agree, it's a bad time to have a kickoff. It's just, it's not good. It's not good. Scroll down on some of these comments. Everybody having a nice chat to each other. Pete, hope you well. Good afternoon, everybody. Southampton have improved under their new manager, and will target 3 points next weekend. Well, they should, and so should we. Both sides should be targeting those 3 points. There's no doubt about that. Jack says Antonio and Ings would send out a message against the Saints. Put 2 men up front. Let's attack them a bit. We're at home, for God's sake. It's bottom of the league. Let's attack. Well, Cliff says we're lucky to see 1 up front. Put 2 up front. Go for it. Why not? Gary says that the stats prove Skamaka should have been starting and Suchet shouldn't be on the pitch. This tells you how lost Moyes is. Bang on, I agree. Everybody else having a nice chat to each other there. Right, then we're going to get our next guest on. Nigel, how are you?
Hey, Jake, how are you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Are you enjoying your nice West Ham free weekend?
I don't know what to do with myself, to be honest. Wanting something to do in it when there's no football. It's like, close season again.
You just can't wait to get to another European away game with top up the tan, mate, can't you?
I'm already. My face looks white, doesn't it? Like it's been a nuclear explosion or something. It's the light from this window in the office or whatever. But I'm looking forward to I've already booked the final. I know that's a bit premature, but I'm going to go regardless. I know you're laughing, but
I know a few people that have. Yeah, I know a few people that have booked the final.
So,
you go for it. Why not? Why not? A big question that I have got to ask you: did you take a book to the theatre last night, Nigel?
No, I'll tell you what happened. I can't say too much about it, really. Actually, so Una, my missus, who goes to football with me all the time, you've probably met her a few times. She really loves this. She loves music. So there's this self-esteem, this artist. I don't know. She's quite. I don't know. She's from Sheffield or something, and she took me to a concert last night, and there was just some strange people there. So he was sitting there. He was sitting there reading the book. So
there we go. In terms of football, then Southampton next weekend. I mean, we're just talking about we've just got to try and go into it with some sort of more positive attitude, you know.
Yeah, Southampton. We don't do very well against them, do we? But then any of what we class as the lesser teams that come to London Stadium, it just seems to be an horrible game for us. The amount of times, we play teams teams like Palace and those sorts of. We come there, we score a goal, we go 1-0 up, or 2-0, and then it just goes to pieces, doesn't it? They don't do anything. Moyes don't make any subs, and then it goes stale, and it ends up being a 2-2 draw. Some of them we even lose, but we never seem to do well against these teams. You know.
What do you think Moyes has got to do to almost change the mentality across the players and probably the fans to keep us up this year?
Well, I mean, to me, I don't think he really knows what team he's putting out each week. It just seems to change continuously. And, you know, the whole thing about this, if we play 5 across the back, which we do even at home against teams like Southampton, which I don't get, we do seem to play 5. We got 3 across the middle, and then we play like wing backs, but the wing backs don't seem to get up the pitch. Do you know what I mean? So we sort of just sit there. We don't trust teams anymore like we used to. I think he's got to start going for it. I mean, I know, you know, I hear people all the time. I mean, personally, I'm a big advocate for pushing teams. I mean, if you look at any of the teams that used to get beat, like Man City and Liverpool, teams attack them, and that's how they beat them. You don't beat these teams by just, you know, sitting and passing it from side to side. You've got to go for it. And I'm the sort of person that would play like all of our forward players, because they're all exciting players. I would play the likes of like Scamacca and Ings up front with Bowen on the left, Antonio on the right, Rice and Paqueta in the middle. I would go, we need to win these games. We've got to win them. So I'm also a big, you know, you've probably heard me droning on about this Mubama thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, we've seen him. We've seen a bit of him. We saw him playing against FSCB Stour, and he got in so many good positions, and he scored, although it got chalked off. And then he came on against Arsenal for only 5 minutes, and then people said, "Oh, you know, we got to get him on against some good quality opposition." So we had that opportunity to do that in a friendly against Fulham, which are a Premier League team. Scamacca even got injured after about 5 or 10 minutes, and he had him on the bench, and he put Flynn Downs on. So what has the kid got to do to actually get on the pitch? And who are we going to play him against? I mean, he came on the other day, and you have all seen it. He came on, and when he came on, he was pointing where he wanted it. He was making runs. He was going from side to side, and he had the eye of the tiger, didn't he? He wanted to score, and our forwards don't seem to have that. When you look at Antonio, he stands still. The ball comes from the with him. Scamacca looks uninterested, and this kid is running around. And if you've played football, no defender likes being pulled around, and that's what Mubama looked like he was doing. He was running them. Defenders don't like that. They don't like being dragged around the pitch. They'd quite happily mark someone, you know, a big lump, and just get hold of the ball. But this kid pulls people around. He's where he wants it, and he's hungry. And in my opinion, I think he should give him a couple of starts. What we got to lose?
Yeah, and I think as well, you know, the way you look at it is that we've got Cornet coming back as well, which I think is, you know, which is a huge boost to have there as well. Mike, just before I let you go, Cornet having him back, a bit of, you know, pace, which we desperately need there.
Premier League, I mean, you've got to have pace. And yeah, I mean, Bowen just recently, I think Gary said it, I think his form's improved. He's got a bit of pace and he's good at running with the ball. You've got to beat people. You've got to beat people to pull people out of position and make a bit of space. Nigel, what he's saying about Mubamba, I feel sorry for him because Moyes just ain't going to play him. He's waiting for easier games, but there's too much pressure on us at the moment, you know, and you know he ain't going to gamble with him. He's not going to gamble with him and stick him in there. I'd like to see him as well. I thought I was up at Derby, and when he came on up there, he showed 2 or 3 lovely touches, and his attitude was great. He come over, you know, to the fans afterwards and everything, and you know, you can see how hungry the guy is to want to go out there and do it for West Ham. He's been with them since he's been a nipper. I know. Do you know what I mean? We've got to use that sort of enthusiasm. And I hope Scamacca, I really do. I hope Scamacca is informed because I think this guy can finish. I think he is a quality finisher, but he's got to be used in the right way. He's not going to make those sort of runs like Muamba does. So one day maybe we could play those two together. You never know.
Exactly. You know, Moyes might push the boat out a bit. Well, Mike, thank you very much indeed for
Thank
joining me.
you.
I'll let you go.
I've got to shoot, guys. See you later.
Cheers, Mike.
Cheers, Mike.
Speak to you later. Thank you very much, mate. Gary, and sort of another thing that's coming back as well is that we've had issues down that right-hand side in the last few weeks since Southampton picked up that injury against Nottingham Forest. He's put Kara back in there, God knows why. He's put Johnson there, who got absolutely skinned by Matoma at Brighton. Having Southampton back there, which we're hoping to for next weekend, I think is going to be a massive boost for the team as well.
Yeah, we need Southampton back. Ben, for some reason, is really struggling for form the last few games. I don't really know why. And Kara, how he plays right back for Germany, I'll never know, but he does. So they must have a mass shortage there. But going back to Moyes, I think it's in his blood to be cautious, unfortunately. Now, as we said earlier, Jake, I've been going for a long time. And back in the late 90s, Harry Redknapp used to play three at the back. And he used to be some of the best football you'd ever see. He used to attack all the time. I think we finished fifth, did we, Nigel, in 99 with Harry, playing three at the back.
Yeah.
We had Joe Cole on the team and Paolo Di Canio and Trevor Sinclair and, really attacking football and just three at the back. It's just Moyes sets it up to be defensive. It's not necessarily a defensive formation. It's just the way we play. I mean, we're just too cautious. And unfortunately, it's going to be like it the rest of the season. There's no way he'll pick out Ings and Antonio together on against Saints. He should do, but he won't. It's just a fact. He'll play the same formation, the same way. We just got to hope we've got enough quality and points to get out of it.
Yeah, definitely. There's been sort of many discussions about whether Moyes is solely to blame for this season, but do you think the players have got to take some sort of criticism as well, Nigel? Because it is Moyes that directs the tactics, but it is the players that don't press and don't really go for it as well. Do you think the blame's got to sort of go both ways with that?
Yeah, I mean, the players know though, don't they? They knew the other day against Brighton. They didn't even come over to us. You was there, Jake. You saw it, and you could tell on their faces they knew they hadn't done enough.
Yeah.
And there are players there that they're easily good enough to compete at the highest level. But what I notice more than anything is when we was in Europe last season, we went to some of those games. We looked amazing, and it was the whole attitude of the team was different. There was a team of winners there, and there ain't a team of winners there now. The whole sort of all the camaraderie's gone. It's sad to see, but it's just not there anymore. I don't know what he's going to do. To be fair, I mean, what he's got to do is get those players gelling. He's got to get that winning mentality back. That's the main thing, because, like I say, we've all played football, and you can just, if your attitude's not there, you're not going to win the game. It's as clear as that. And some of those players, I mean, a lot of people criticise Fornells. I love Fornells, I think, because he's arts in it. Do you know what I mean? If you had 11 Fornells on the pitch, he's art, and he loves West Ham, and I think that's, do you know what I mean? That's what we need. Some of these players are like, they're just turning up for a paycheck every week now.
Yeah, I agree, Nigel. I think Fornells is the closest thing we got to Noble. He's the one that really cares about West Ham, or seems to be anyway. He's the one that's really, he's not we'll all agree he's not the most gifted footballer we've got, or the fastest, but he's definitely the most passionate. He really gets stuck in, and he runs like his life's depending on it, and he looks genuinely upset when we lose. Some of the other players, I think, don't give a shit, personally. But that's just...
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't like to criticise. I'm one of these players who get people online. This player's crap, that player's crap. They're not crap. Otherwise, they wouldn't be playing in the Premier League. But
Exactly.
let's face it, some of them ain't. I mean, you said about Johnson the other day getting skinned, but this is not the first time. I mean, it's schoolboy stuff. With that first goal, I was saying to Una just before it happened, I went, look at the space he's giving him.
Mm-hmm.
20 yards. Just a normal Sunday League football, he wouldn't give someone that much room.
Yeah.
And it was obvious that something was going to go wrong there. And he does totally seem to have a bit of confidence in his body. And we've had, if you notice, Gary as well, you probably noticed this a lot, that we've never had any fullbacks of late that want to take anyone on. Apart from Soufal will have a go. But we've had Fredericks, who was apparently the fastest player in the league. I mean, scared to go past people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we'll go from. And then you've got Johnson. He won't go past people. We ain't got anyone that can, literally beat a man. Cresswell, again. You notice about Cresswell, when he gets the ball, he always has to take the touch before he puts the ball in, and it's too late.
Exactly.
And his sort of first instinct as well. Creswell gets the ball. His first instinct is take a touch and look to go back. It's always to try and possessionize and keep the ball. And I watched some of the West Ham women's game yesterday. And we got the ball. We put the ball into the box. And I'm like, why can't we do this? Because we mess around with it. We do too many passes. Get the ball. There's a man in the box. Whip it in. You can all put a decent ball into the box. And it just feels like many people have said it that we're watching West Ham die of a slow death as we're just petering out into just.
Very true. It's a sad. But let's face it. Look, we're used to being in this situation. It's only because we had such a good last couple of years that we're now like, oh, we're crap. It's like this is West Ham as it normally is for me. Do you know what I mean? I've been going years, and like I see this relegation every year. So
I agree.
It's.
No, I agree with Nigel. I mean, when I go there, I do not understand fans who criticise our players. I literally do not understand that at all. While they're on the pitch playing for West Ham, you get behind them. Afterwards, you can say what you like. But while they're on the pitch, I don't see how booing them, shouting at them is going to help. So I don't understand that, firstly. But the second point I want to make, Jake, I went to the Villa game, and the left winger or the left back had so much room.
Oh my God!
It was embarrassing.
Marino, he's just it was ridiculous, wasn't it?
And we can all see it. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not a Premier League manager, but I can see the space that guy's got. And nothing happens. I mean, he literally had the whole pitch to himself. It was just embarrassing. And you wonder what the tactics are, what Nolan is saying and Moyes is saying. It's just strange. It's really odd. I mean, you get someone that quality, he's going to put a ball in like he did for Watkins to score. It just happens. It's just beyond me.
Yeah.
Well, I thought the same thing, Gary. I was looking at Moreno, his name, wasn't it? The left back.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
My season ticket seats are in the gods, so I'm like, I might have to get a set of binoculars next season. But like, just trying to, I was like, this left. I thought, is that Matty Cash? And I thought, no, he's the right. And then, but him, I was actually watching. And I thought exactly the same thing. But look at this geezer. He's like, he's having a stroll out there, isn't he? It was so easy for him.
It was.
We're not Premier League managers. We're not idiots.
No.
Yeah, and I think some of it and some of the frustration stems from what Moyes says in his post-match press conferences. And I'll never forget, we were waiting to get back on the bus, and Gary, you were refreshing, trying to see what Moyes said, and we saw what Moyes said after that Brighton game, and we all just looked at each other in complete disbelief. How he stands there and still bangs for, we had a good 2 years in Europe, drum. You need to stick with us. We'll bounce back next week. We both looked at each other, Gary, and went, what is this guy on about? Like,
that credit he had in the bank has run out.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what, the pundits' credit in the bank that they keep banging on about ended a long time ago. And I think it's just a naivety from Moyes as well, Gary, is that he stands there and he bangs his drum that he doesn't use social media. He doesn't look what fans say because they're not experts. Obviously, otherwise we'd be on the pitch and we'd be managers. But you haven't got to be an expert to see the obvious.
No. I mean, Nigel's right. I mean, him and I have supported the team for many years. And Moyes is right. We haven't been in Europe for 2 seasons in a row for years and years. But we can see on the pitch the last 12 months, 18 months in the Premier League have been really poor. We can all see that, and there's no point in banging on about the past because the past is the past.
Gary, wasn't it? It was that team in '90, the Joe Cole team, and that was the last time he was in Europe, wasn't it? That Intertoto Cup thing.
Yeah, we won that, and we've seen some good days. But Nigel's right. Most of the time, we've been rubbish supporting West Ham. We know that, but don't treat us like idiots and say we've had 2 good years. We haven't really had 2 good years. We had a good run in the cup. We overachieved by beating Sevilla and Lyon. Yeah, but the Premier League's been terrible for 18 months. We were 4th before Christmas last year. We ended up, where did we finish? 7th, hanging on, or 8th. This year we've been down the bottom all season. So you can't bang on about it. It's just we've got to move forward.
And there's so many sort of things you can pick out of it. The stats are daunting. 1 away win since the start of August or whatever, and that was at Villa where we scraped it in the end. I think it's 3 away wins in hundreds and hundreds of days, and that one against Villa and the one against Norwich where they just completely gave up and we all just had a bit of a party in the sun in the end. There's so many issues there to pick out, and Moyes has got to say before we go back from this break and go, right, forget what's happened in the past now. We're going to go and we're going to attack teams and we're going to get ourselves out of this and give the fans at home something to shout about and go away from home and surprise a team. I don't know, go to our next away game and surprise a team, attack, give us something to shout about, because these fans have been, yet again, amazing this season and we've been repaid absolutely nothing, Nigel.
I think it'll surprise us, Jake.
It would. Yeah, it would.
Yeah, it would, yeah.
It would.
I do think though, when you look at it, there are worse teams than us. We can't be the only ones sitting there thinking, "Oh my God, we're going to get relegated."
Yeah.
And we still got to remember that there's a lot of points up for grabs.
Yeah,
There is a lot. People are panic. People panic when you look at it. There's still like another 27 points or something, up for grabs. That's a lot of points. So I'm not panicking. I'll be panicking maybe, with 5 games to go, we're having knowing we've got City and United, some of them late games, them sort of things. That's when we need to win, get these teams that we should be beating, Southampton, Palace, all that. Get it out of the way now. Get ourselves up there. That's what we need to do. It's no good we need to do it now. This is when the change needs to happen.
Oh, bang on. And if we can perfectly, somebody made the analogy of maybe if we stay up, if we can win the Conference League and then we say bye to Moyes, then we could probably look back and go, right, okay, fair enough. But we're in a big problem here. And I thought I will bring up the table again. Right there it is. And, with the teams left, we've got left to play, right? So if I go, where are we? We're here. So we've still got to play Palace. We've still got to play Leeds, I think.
Yeah.
Forest we played twice. We've still got to play Everton. I don't know. We've
No,
got to play
no.
Leicester. We've got to play Bournemouth.
Yeah.
We've got to play Southampton.
Yeah.
We've still got to play all these teams. If we still go and beat the teams around us, we'll stay up. If we can just concentrate on beating those teams and then maybe picking up a couple of unexpected points against maybe a Newcastle or a better side than where we're currently at, then we'll have enough there.
Well, I think we're going to beat the likes of Liverpool in that. And I think we're going to struggle against the likes of Palace and then sort of teams. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what happens with us.
Yeah.
We play well against the decent teams, and then when we play these mediocre teams, we get beat. And I just can't fathom out why. You know, it's just like, but it happens all the time.
Yeah.
There's up against some of them teams there. They're like some Bournemouth away. That ain't going to be an easy game for us.
No. I think my personal view on that, Nigel, is I think the bigger teams don't worry about us too much because they on theory, got better players. So let us play a bit more. Whereas the smaller teams know exactly how we're going to play. They know exactly how we're going to line up and set up perfectly against us. That's what my personal view is. And they know how to nullify our threats.
Yeah. I mean, what threats are they, Gary? That's what we got. At the moment, we don't look like we got any threats, do we? Like threat. Everyone. Do you know what amazes me as well? This is what amazes me. So I go to all the games and I speak to a lot of opposing fans, and every one of them says, "Core, that Antonio's good, isn't he?"
They all say that, don't they? Yeah.
But that's what they say, and I'm like, I wish they was their chairman.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they all say it, don't they?
Yeah.
Antonio, and I'm like, mate, when you watch this guy every week, I'm not joking. At 40 years old, I reckon I was a better centre forward than him. He's got a touch like Peter Sutcliffe. He's like I've seen milk turn quicker. He honestly, the bloke, if you pass the ball to him, right? And this is what I explained to everyone. I said, he can't pass, he can't control a ball, he's got zero vision. If you knock the ball over the top to him,
he runs past it.
He turns into Ronaldinho.
I think Antonio's good if he hasn't got to think about anything.
Exactly that. If you leave him to run onto something, knock something down the channels and let him run onto it. Do you know what? I was in a petrol station the other day and I saw Tony Gale and I was chatting to him. And Tony Gale calls him Forrest Gump. And do you know what the first thing he said to me? Well, he said to me, he weren't very complimentary about Kira, put it that way.
Wow. I'm not either.
No.
I had high hopes for that guy because when we got him, I said, he had a couple of good touches. He brought it out. He played with Germany. He looked all right. And I thought, cool, we've got a bargain here. And then I kept making excuses after when we played him at left back at Leeds. He was absolutely awful.
Yeah.
And then we played him at centre back. And he was all over the shop. He's giving away penalties and that. And then I was like, yeah, but we got to play him in his proper position. We got to remember he's a right back. We put him at right back, and he was still shit.
Yeah.
What do you know what I mean? I don't get it. You're right, Gary. How this bloke gets in the German national team, I do not. He must be like married to one of the.
Honestly, I've got absolutely no idea how he's their starting right wing back. Completely baffles me. Let's take some of your comments and see what you guys are saying. Keep them coming in. Gary says if he keeps us up and wins the cup, he will be our best ever manager in the stats. How mad is that? It could be turned at that, and people put up the analogy: if he keeps us up and we win the Conference League and we go, thank you very much, farewell, David boys. And what are we all moaning about?
Jake, this is the thing. We win the Conference League, we'll all be fickle enough to be singing Super David Moyes.
I know.
That's how it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm one of these people. I'm at an away game and Antonio gets subbed and people start cheering Antonio. And I'm like, I just like that. I'm not cheering that because I'm not going to be an hypocrite. Do you know what I mean? And start, do you know what I mean? Jump on the end, because he scores a goal or something, That Larnaca game, I went to that. And mate, we didn't have a shot on goal for 30 minutes, and I saw him actually fall over his own feet. Do you know what I mean? It was awful.
Yeah, we've got some problems there that I think we can fix because we've got the players there. And if you look on paper, we all know it's not played on paper, but we've probably got the best squad there. If we can get the best out of them, but that's the what seems to be the most excruciating thing about it is we're not getting the best out of these players, and that alone falls on David Moyes. He needs to come and he needs to put a statement out, get the fans off of their seats at Southampton game. He moans about, we need the fans. These fans backed us when we were in Europe and all this rubbish, right? We'll give the fans something to shout about now. Entice the fans in. We need something to get us going as a football club again and keep us in this league. Because if we do go down, that will be a disaster. Because the Championship is one hell of a hard league to get out of.
Yeah, it is. The trouble is, to touch on Moyes' point, Jake, I look at our team from last season and I can't think of one player who's playing better this season than he did last.
No.
Not one, which is very unusual. There's always one. And then we've got the new players coming in, and I think Paqueta's been played out of position. As we touched on, Kera, who's been a disaster. I like Aguero. I think he's been a good signing. And I think Scamacca is going to be a good player, but he needs time and he's always injured. So, there are positives to look at it. We've got some players to find some form, hopefully, get back to where they were last season. And if they don't, it will be okay.
I'm convinced with the signings. Oh, go on, Nigel. Go on.
Yeah, I think Aguerd's an awesome player. I'd watched him because I used to live in France and I used to go on a Rennes season ticket before he was playing for him, obviously, but this was years ago. But I'd always kept up to speed on what Rennes are doing. I'm quite, I like the club. And they loved him there. I spoke to some of them. I was over there last year. I was speaking to some of their fans because I just went to a game and they were saying about Aguerd and he's next level. So when we bought him, I was like, wow, this guy's really brilliant. And and he is showing that, but he ain't got the quality next to him. Do you know what I mean? So that's the trouble. But
I think the key part of it as well is if we could keep Zuma fit and if we could just sort of eradicate a couple of the incidents and dodgy moments that Gerd has had, because there has been a couple of them. He had a dodgy 15 minutes up at Man United away, I thought, in the cup. He went to complete pot there. If we could sort of eradicate that out and build that partnership there with Zuma, which I think that's the two best centre backs we've got at the club, then I think we can start to build the foundations with Emerson at left back, who's beginning to come into some form, Soufal coming back. I think we can build the foundations of a better defence and a more sort of consistent defence as well, not chopping and changing week after week. Let's keep these players fit, because I think that's our four best defenders who should be starting there. Emerson on the left, Aguerd and Zuma, and Soufal on the right. I think that's what it should be. And if we can keep it like that.
I think, Jake, that Zuma, when you look at, I don't know if you both of you guys really, I mean, when Zuma runs,
he's injured.
He looks like he's a giraffe that's been shot by a game hunter. He ambles. He looks like he's constantly injured. I don't know if it's just me that thinks that.
No, I
you mean. I think it's just his style. Do you remember Chris Waddle back in the day, Nigel? He used to always look knackered.
Chris Waddle. Do you know what I was thinking about him the other day? He came down. He played at Gillingham for Sheffield Wednesday. I was thinking about him the other day. Chris Waddle, but he was a strange one, wasn't he?
Yeah, so some people have got that funny style. Zuma always looks like he's injured. Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to get called to be substituted in a minute, but
Yeah.
just his style.
Just the way he is, isn't it? Just the way he
Yeah.
is. Peter says, played on grass, but most of them look like they have been smoking it this season.
Peter's right there. I reckon Moyes has. I reckon
he's
Moyes
gone
is
at it.
sitting back in there like that at half time, having a laugh, going, who should we put on? I'll tell you what,
let's take that barber off.
Let's play Kira today, all sitting there laughing about it and that. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know what you got. Well, we've touched on it earlier, right? Well, I have. I've been going on about it constantly about Mubama. But I seriously think that he could be the next best. He could be the next big thing out of West Ham. I seriously think this kid is a goal machine. And like I say, you've got to have this eye of the tiger mentality if you're going to, and he's got it. And you can see he's so hungry for goals. And so he's not ready. Well, Jamie Vardy was playing non-league, mate, when they got him. Do you know what I mean? They pulled him out and he was dynamite in the Premier. I think if you're a goal scorer, you'll score goals because it's about that net and then post in front of you. If you can strike that and you're hungry for that, you're going to get goals. And that kid, I'm telling you now, if we play him, if he gets a run in the team, you heard it here.
No, I think we all agree, Nigel, but we know Moyes is not going to play him this season for sure.
Longhello, did you see the other day? Longhello, he's gone to Birmingham now. Did you? He said he publicly come out. He said none of us thought we're not going to get in this team. No matter how well we play, we ain't getting in this team, and that's why they leave. And you can't.
And that speaks volumes as well. That speaks volumes of the Academy of Football and the way that Moyes is doing it. Is that he has identified Mubama because he's played him a couple of times. But why not let the shackles off? And I think a big moment as well. I'm hoping Moyes is going to be there at the start of next month because I'm going to be there. So I hope Moyes is going to be there for the Youth Cup semi-final after the Southampton game. If we can get him there. Maybe if he can score as well, put in a good performance again and solidify his spot. And let's, don't put two keepers on the bench. Put Mubamba on the bench if it comes to that. Give an option. Stop putting 2 or 3 keepers on the bench, which is completely unnecessary, and put some of these youngsters on, even for the experience, and just take the shackles off and put them on. Because we know Mubamba can do it. Just put him on. But
against Brighton, how bad can it be? How much worse can he be than we was against Brighton? Come on.
Good point.
Get him on the pitch. Could he do any worse than what was on there?
No.
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No,
there's an interesting comment. Do you think we've missed Dawson? I think that's probably the worst decisions that we've made as a club over the last year. It's not the fact that we let him go because we had to, otherwise things might have got a little bit not nice there, but not bringing it or not lining up and bringing in a replacement for Dawson was baffling because it's left us with some unrest and inconsistency with who we're playing, different centre-backs here and there. It's been a little bit dodgy in that sense, and Bonner's had to play probably a lot more than what Moyes anticipated. Why we let Dawson go and not bring in a replacement was absolutely beyond me as well.
Well, you think about it, Jack. Jack's got a very good point there. Do we think we missed Dawson? Yeah, how many times now when we get a corner do you think we're going to score?
No, we're not.
When Dawson was on the pitch, we was like, yeah, Dawson will beat. We've got a chance.
It's like a penalty in it. Get in. We've got a corner.
No, he's he stick his head in there. How many goals did he score from corners and set pieces in the way, or put people in under pressure? Dawson did that. It was a big integral part of that.
Yeah.
This is Nigel. This is where I put the blame on Rob Newman and the board because Dawson's made it perfectly clear for a long time. We all knew for family reasons he wanted to move back north, and family is the most important thing. So no problem there from us. We all love him. He's a great player. But where's the recruitment? We know it's going to happen for 6 months. We knew it's going to happen. They should have identified somebody, let him go in January and bring the person in they've identified. That's their job. That's their full-time job. What are they doing?
Yeah, and one sort of question I think the fans will answered, and we have Sean on who does the roundup show, who's a Spurs fan, and he comes on here and he watches West Ham quite avidly to come on and talk about it, and he said to me, and I do agree with him, has Moyes signed all these players? All these players we've brought in. Downs, I'd say, is a Moyes player. Who's signing all these players? Because I spoke to Barry Stiltman, the agent, a few months ago, and he did say to me, all these players that West Ham have signed, Moyes wanted. And I came off of that after, and I said to Dad, I said, he said that before I uploaded it YouTube, and said, I don't think these signings are Moyes signings. I really don't, because he has no clue how to use them. We've waited 3 years to sign a striker, and he turned out exactly the same as Haller. I think he'll go in the summer.
Do you know what? That's a fair point, Jake, as well. About you mentioning Haller right now. So Sebastian Haller played for Eintracht Frankfurt last year, wasn't it? Part of the front 2 or 3, banging goals in for fun. He comes to West Ham, don't do anything. We ship him off to Ajax, top scorer in Champions League, right? Then goes to play with Dortmund, is it? And then gets tested for the cancer, comes back after that and gets an hat-trick in 10 minutes. This ain't a bad footballer. So he then gets Antonio, who's a right-sided wing-back, puts him at centre-forward, ruins him, right? So he's getting stick, because he's not centre-forward. Then he buys Scamacca, who for Sassuolo, whoever's playing for, part of the front 2, play for the Italian team, doing well, great link-up play, puts him up front on his own. So all that tells me is Moyes kills strikers by isolating them.
Yeah, he kills them, completely kills them. And
the confidence, and when the confidence is gone, that's it, because you...
Yeah, because he slashes their confidence by not putting anybody, and we've proven, and it's proven that Danny Ings is a striker that will go to a club and he'll score goals. But you've got to give the geezer, some support up there. There's nobody within 30 yards of him half the time when he plays a one.
No, exactly. Did he touch the ball 10 times last game or something? Ridiculous.
You can't expect anybody with nobody anywhere near him to score goals like we want him to. Let's take some comments there. Kent Hammers, Kent, hope you well, mate.
They do, Kent.
Dawson wanted to go, but to let him go, we needed to get somebody in. I think Paqueta is a Moyes player. Isn't a Moyes player, sorry. I believe he wanted Onana. I agree. The way he uses these players and the complete misman management he's got there, I just can't see how he's went, I want X, Y, Z through the players we've got. I really can't see it. Feed, yeah, exactly, Kent. You said it all through the time he was there. Feed Haller, he will score goals, and he will score. We don't feed strikers; they have absolutely no service there. I'm going to start wrapping things up under the hour because we could talk all day. Final thoughts: 9 games in April. Every other team around us hasn't got the European factor playing Thursday, Sunday like we have. How big of a part do you think that's going to play? And how big of a month do you think April is going to be? I'll start with you, Gary.
Well, April's obviously a massive month for us, the West Ham Football Club. Absolutely huge month. I think the players, we've got the squad. As I touched on earlier, we need a bit of belief, a bit of form. The managers taking the shackles off and letting us play football, and I think we'll be okay. I mean, I look at the teams around us, and I don't believe we've got the worst squad. In fact, I think we've probably got the best squad of the 9 teams around us, and we're good enough to stay. And the players need to believe in that, and we need to just attack and play our best football, and we'll be okay. I'm still positive. I think we'll be okay.
Nigel?
I think the main thing about April is going to get into all these games. It's going to cost me a fortune. That's the main thing. But I think that we've got to attack team, and we've got to play our strongest team. Whether not all this, we're going to play a weaker team for this team or that team. I think you've got to play your strongest team all the time. And all this about being tired. These are Premier League footballers that train every day. I actually think that's rubbish, because that never used to happen in the 70s, did it? And teams used to win games. And when I was playing football, mate, I was playing 5 days a week. Do you know what I mean? I'd still as keen to play, and I still would put the same amount of effort in. I just don't get it. All this like, oh yeah, we're tired. We played 90 minutes. Well, train harder then. You're on 100 grand a week. You know what I mean? You're on 100 grand a week.
I'd be running my flipping balls off if I was getting paid 100 grand a week, for God's sake. Go up there.
You play for nothing, wouldn't you? It's like I just think you've got to play your strongest team all the time.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion on it, And when if we do play our strongest team, we've got a team and we play well, I think we'll get out of there. I'd like to see us win the Conference League. And I've got an inkling that we might win it. We've got a chance now, some of these teams are out. So I think we've got a chance of winning that, which would be a fantastic boost for the supporters.
Yeah.
To scrape by and stay in the Premier League. Yeah, I think we'll do it, but I think it'll be tight.
Very well put. There we go. So as we head into a month of April, I've had a little bit of a break from doing all these shenanigans on here, but I'm back. Mock exams are done. We are ready to go until May, where somebody just has to take this over and do it for a month. I pay well, so no, I'm joking. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. So obviously we've got a jam-packed month. We'll cover every single West Ham game here on West Ham Official. 9 games inside the 30 days, and we'll call it 10 as well, because we'll be heading up to the Youth Cup game on the Thursday as well, to have a little look at what the youth players do, and of course as they look to try and book their spot in the final of the Youth Cup. So we'll be there. We'll be at Southampton, and we'll have all of the match day coverage for the other games throughout April. So yeah, thank you very much indeed, Gary and Nigel. Thank you very much. I'm sure I'll see you both very soon.
Cheers, Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you very much. From us, come on, you ones, keep the faith. Hopefully we can stay up. We'll see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Thank you very much. Come on, you ones. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
See you later.